Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here, and welcome to this first official week of December. We are jumping into what I have here on my desk, which is my December Stories album. Super excited about this project this year. I just feel really ready for it, and so I hope I can bring some inspiration to you today. I'm going to process through my first story. Let's go. Okay, if you joined me in my previous video, I already unpacked what I'm going to be doing in this year's book. December Stories is what I'm calling it. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm just going to kind of catch you up a little bit about what I am doing next. So I already have my cover page in. I already have my, what I'm calling my wish for me this year. And so now I'm going to do my first story, which is always the family portrait. And I was so fortunate to have every one of my family members here this past Thanksgiving. So we grabbed a picture. There's a lot of us in here. I do wish it was a little tighter, but we did the best we could on a very cold day. And so I'm very, very thankful to have this documented. But like so many of my other albums, my first page, my first story is my family and chatting about them all. And actually, that's a separate story. I'm kind of combining two stories here, but this one's going to be about what I want to share today is just how I'm going to go about documenting this particular page. And so as we get in, I finally decided to go ahead and call this story number 2. And you can see here, I have grabbed the beautiful holiday wishes, and it's going to be a background page. I'm going to mount this Christmas pattern paper to the top of it. And the reason I went ahead and decided to use that whole sheet of the holiday wishes is because I do want to make use of the pattern on the other side, which you will see in a moment. Grabbing my, I love this 2-inch foam adhesive tape. It's the best. And it is being used here to kind of give a bit of elevation to my background paper. I'm all about that lift, that dimension. And of course, you know, I always decide after I have put something in place to go back and distress the edges, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I decided, oh yeah, I wanted those distress. I do this all the time, but it's okay. It still works. I probably could have taken it out of the book, which might have been a little more smart. Oh, there she goes. She did take it out of the book. So getting that finished up, then I am adding adhesive to the back of my photo and centering it inside of that framed, it's a stitch die. I'll have to link that below. I'm not recalling who it's by right now. And so it's basically centered back behind there. Okay, I love these block outline words. This is not the first time I've used this Christmas version. I have quite a few projects from last year. What I did is I die cut this on that Christmas pattern paper. I kept all the pieces in place, and I'm trying to keep them in place with the the mint tape. There we go. And then I have another cutout of a Mary. So I've cut this twice. And now I'm using that outline portion of the die. And as best I can, I'm going to elevate it over the other Mary. It just brings a lot of dimension to this cute little tag feature, if you will. And so it's going to be very ethereal. I mean, it's going to look very floaty. That's my word. It's going to be very floaty. So there is that portion. So now I have the holiday brushstrokes from Sizzix and Tim Holtz. What I decided to do is, because this is a theme, you are going to see this played out over and over again in this album. I'm just about all of the florals and the branches and you name it. I'm loving it. So I grabbed just the dies to the branches part of the holiday brushstrokes. And you can see there that it's actually, there's a poinsettia that's part of this die set. But I opted just for the branches, and I cut that out also from the ScrapbookCom pattern Christmas paper. I'm just using up that. I'm glad I have a second pad because I'm using up all the green and blue patterns so much. So I got those in place, and I think I've alluded to this before, but I really am a fan of the hot glue gun, and I should have probably used a hot glue gun here, but I had the smart glue sitting on my table, and it works just fine. I'm just, you know, I I want to get the make done and get to the next make. And I really shouldn't be like that. But I did bring in the tiny attacher to make sure that everything was going to stay exactly where I put it. Plus, I just like the look of that staple. So you had a quick little look there at this brand new Spellbinders dies called Squiggles. I love them. And those are the little leaves. Very thin die cuts, just gorgeous. So I decided to cut the leaves out of some Heidi Swapp glitter paper that I had here from Storyline Chapters. And once I get this elevated in place, I'm just kind of checking all my pages. I do this over and over again, just lay all the pages, close all the pages and see how everything's looking. Because I kind of wanted this to overlap the page there on the right hand side. So I was just making sure you could see that overlap. And then I'm just tucking in the little gold glittered squiggles. I love that name, Squiggles. Is this supposed to go with their whole wax sealed beautiful kit that they have? And it can. I have some of those ideas out there as well. But I am really loving just having these squiggles die cut and then just tucking them here and there, wherever. I'm here for it. I love it so much. So because we are such right now a family of 10, my little photo was okay. I like how it worked out and I'm fine with that. But I decided, I want a bigger picture of us. So I printed us in a 5x7 and I am going to now create a flap with this vellum. You can see here where I already gave it a score, and then I'm cutting it just about an inch from the score, and that's the flap that's going to then sit on the page itself. And I don't know, I can't seem to cut with my cutter right now, so I have to go back and cut everything with my scissors. So once I put my vellum on my page there, I needed to go back and trim it up a little bit. I realized it was a little too tall for the page. I didn't want it to completely cover the page. Maybe I'm doing that here. Yeah, I haven't trimmed it yet. So that's why I came back to trim it, maybe about 3/4 inch off of it. I didn't want it to completely cover that gorgeous 49 and Market pattern there. But it's going to sit there on the outside of the vellum. And it's flapping, right? It's flapping on its page. And once I have all this in place, I am going to create for it a little tab. So I circle punched more of the Christmas pattern paper, and that's what you see me mess with there. And boy, do I mess with it. I just move it here and there. Okay, so you're going to have fun watching this. So I grabbed the Tim Holtz rib knit rubs, and I'm cutting out, like you should, The Wonderful Life, because I thought that would be a great little tabbed title to this part of my story number 2. And so using my fingers, I laid it down, and I think I even might have pressed it, but then it wasn't centered. So I go back to try to center it, and what happens? Yep, you guessed it. I lost part of my rub-on. And so I don't know why, but I spent some time rubbing the rub-on off of my little piece of paper. When I could have just, punched another circle from some more paper, but no, I didn't do that. Okay, so I got smart this time, and I'm using the craft tweezers to set The Wonderful Life in place. Thank goodness there's 2 sheets to the rib knit rubs, so if you make a mistake, which isn't ideal, but we're going to make mistakes, and I'm okay with it. I'm just obviously going to use The Wonderful Life one time. And so that is the title to my little tab, and I finally have it in place, and I'm so proud of myself. Wonderful Life, there it is. So I wanted to back that up because, once you lift that photo, you're going to be able to see the other side. So I'm going to staple it in place. And now I have room to add in some typed journaling on the inside of that. So thank you so much for watching story number 2, and I will see you in the next video.